Welcome everyone. This is Nichel Anderson. I'm your host for my podcast show, Surviving Your Journey to Success. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to go ahead and start this podcast by saying thank you so much for being a part of my journey podcasting. This is my 4th year, and I'm very blessed and humble that I have people that follow me and listen to what I'm of a collective of other podcasters that aim to not just share their thoughts and their perspective, but to have the discussion going forward. Because I like to say that's the 360. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Today I'm going to talk about, I know it's been a while. This whole 4th season, I had a lot of guest interviews, and I really enjoyed them. I hope you did too. If you haven't got a chance to, please check out my catalog of podcast episodes that have been released, and definitely those guest interviews. And it's been a while since I had a theme podcast focusing on, you know it, the workplace or work teams and so forth, or our personal journey dealing with, people or learning about ourselves. So, all right. So no further ado, let me go ahead and get into like to say, I am thankful, I'm grateful, I'm humble for the greater good that's been blessed to me to do this on this platform and to use it to the greater good. And with that, we're going to move into this. So it's not going to be a long podcast today, but I hope it will be informative that you can take something away from it. So today's episode talks about toxicity environment. Who can stop it? I can really make this real short and say it's management. Yeah, I went there because it's the embodiment of riding the horse and telling the horse, this is where we're going to go. This is the plan. And when the horse get there, you're supposed to have the resources that the horse in that retrospect didn't get no water. You get nothing to eat. Carrying all that weight. I hear somebody laughing, but it's true. They get there and there's no water. Or if it is, it's the most dirty water. Even the pan that holds the water, the bucket that holds the water is just disgusting in itself. Or it's not the best, and it seems that it can contain the nutrients that you will need to replenish what has been poured out as that horse carried, not as light as a feather self. And I know someone is laughing on that, but it's the truth. So you have to have a plan, not just it's about business. We got to get the sale. We got to do this. It's about humanity. You got to go into your heart to know what is right and what is wrong. So when you make that profit, you hear me? It's not all about what I can buy materialistic. It's what I can put back in to make that next monetary gain. It's about being thankful who helped you to get there. And sometimes it's just a real sincere thank you. Not a thank you, but then as soon as you turn around, I'm going to do something else. So I like to have this discussion because I wrote a book about corporate America Surviving Your Journey to Success. I just got out of college and worked a couple years and was at a particular organization that really opened my eyes to like this what needs to be in. We should learn about this in class, right? And fast forward, here I am doing a podcast with that theme, Surviving Your Journey. And the workplace, at least 95%, or at least a high number, still work in the workplace. And I know with COVID and all of that, things has changed, but for the most part, you are. So let's talk about that. Let's get into this. These are the top things that management that don't want to be in that club of a toxicity type manager or management or company. Okay, number 1, you don't want no high turnover. I said this previously on several other my podcasts. I recommend you go back and listen to that. When you see that you work for a company that has a high turnover, it's a red flag. And when it has been over a time of years and nothing has been done about it, you literally is in a pot of crap. Now I'm going to be real with you because I'm towards the end of my year podcast, and you know what, after 2020 last year, I'm going all in because it is what it is. And if we want the best in life, I believe it is possible that you can work for a company and you could be happy towards the end. I really believe it does exist. I know some people is probably listening like, heck no, Nichel, I don't see it. But I believe that it is possible. It is. It has to be. Why? I'm going back to my tagline. It's the 360. Without it, nothing grows. And eventually, those that don't want to grow, for whatever reason how it makes up, it doesn't exist, right? It doesn't progress. It can manipulate and hide, but eventually it's not the same or the intention of what it would be. So truth is in that. So high turnover is saying a lot about management. I'm going to get into that. What is it saying that you need to look for as a manager or as an employee? High turnover with the company basically exposes the ineffective of decisions that impact what the employee needs. Now I said in what the employee needs. We're not talking about the customer. We're not talking about, well, we got to get these metrics. We got to get these data. We're not talking about that. That's not on the table, because we're talking about a high turnover of employees. Now, people can hide it and say it doesn't exist. People can say, well, no, everything, and you can be, sometimes I like to call it groupthink, especially if others that are saying, yeah, I don't see nothing, when they got a particular position, right? Got promoted, whatever, to just go along with it. But they know they go home and they tell their significant other, that's a mess right now. And it's just, crazy town. Or I'm so stressed, frustrated, Because see, the employees makes up the butter that goes on the bread, that has that sweet smooth, and it's a part of the overall organism to have the company operating where it should. So a high turnover, say management is making not good decisions. Okay, they are making decisions that are one-sided, and it has manifest to a level that is not going around to that complete circle, but half, some of them not even half, and it's causing someone to say, I'm tired. Just like the horse when I brought up in the beginning. See, I'm teaching y'all today. All right. And I'm also honing on what I feel in my spirit that somebody needs to hear this. Or maybe some people. Heck, we all need to hear it. You know why? Because that's what truth does. You take a little sip of it, and then later you come and get another sip. And it helps you to look at what you see that you were denying in before. And so a high turnover is key. Actually, when you hear about high turnover and people talk to me about it, that's all really I need to know, because everything else is ramification of that, because it's reached a level that, in that metaphor I put in the beginning of my podcast, the horse got to where you say, okay, yeah, this is what you're going to get. If you just take all this crap, all this weight on your back, carry me all the way down, and then I'm going to be drinking at the countertop with marble countertops, and my glasses have gold trims around it, and I have a full course meal, the best lobster that you ever had, while you drinking out of that bucket. You see, that's what high turnover is. And I want any manager that's listening to this, that's what you got to put in your head, because when you see that number and your human resources manager tell you that, everything needs to stop, and you need to find out why. Now, some companies are using, let's do a survey. We could do a survey. Let's ask how they feel. We really want to know. This is how you know that they really are sincere. The things they say they're implementing is actually giving. They're not getting nothing from it. And you would know that once you look through the whole period of time to see. And time is key, because time is going to reveal what they said that's going to happen actually did, and how things are handled and decisions are made. Remember, I'm coming back to decisions. High turnover exposes the decision factor meter. You know what? I need to write a note about that. I need to do a podcast about decision meter. What is a decision meter? Okay, it's a metric that I like to use to determine, is this something that it is what they're saying about the brand, about the identity, about what they do, or is it just not true? And the high turnover tells you that, and that means it's an emotional, it's actually spiritual. You want to go really deep on that, because the employees had to sit in their mind like, I don't care about none of this. I just care about my mental peace. So I'm going to walk out of here and have my happiness back. I don't feel good doing my job. When they don't do that, when they feel that way, that means the customer is not getting the value that you said that they would get when you spend all that money marketing to get there. So you got to know what's going on. So when you do a survey, you want to go whole hard in it, and you got to listen, and you got to be reasonable, but you got to listen, because obviously it's been 2 months of taking. Ride me to here, and then nothing's happening. Okay, let's go to the other point on that, because that should be a separate podcast. High turnover of employees. The next one, I want to focus on the constant request to do something that empowers the employee. It could be allowing more PTO. I don't know. It could be better training, which that's another podcast I need to do about that. I don't know why the last decade or so, training just went way out the window. You ask for training, it's like literally trying to pull a teeth out of a lion's mouth. Okay? So we need to focus on that. If the employee asks for training, give it to them. Be reasonable, but give it to them. If you don't, you're saying that they're not worthy enough to get what they need, what they're asking you. The horse is not worthy enough to stop. Let's stop for 5 minutes. Let me give you some of my water. No. Yeah, I'll give it to you, but it doesn't happen. And if you know you're cramming stuff that you normally take a year, imagine the impact of that pain and that weight on that employee mind. All right. Next, let's talk about the response time. Right. You ask for something, and the waiter is taking too long to deliver it. Put that in a workplace. You need the software or the platforms, the resources. It takes forever to get it. And when you do get it, it is the most low graded, cheap, unproductive. The stories that I hear. And it shows that you don't care enough to give them the best. Back to my metaphor. The horse is carrying you all this way. And it's like, okay, I'm going to get you some horseshoes before we make the journal. The horseshoes got nails in it. It's, you ever notice and saw and watch where those that put on those those shoes on horses, how they take their time and they really measure it, and they put all up in it to make sure, because they know they're carrying all that weight. That's what you got to think about if you're a manager. Okay, you give them the best, because the best reinforces what the customer is expecting when they call in, or when they talk, or when they mail in, or what have you, or they're on your website, whatever. You give them the best. You invest in it. Now I'm going to jump ahead of myself. I'm going to do a separate podcast about why did I choose Podbean. Now, Podbean is not paying me for this or nothing, but it was 2 podcast shows that I have, and 2 podcast platforms. And I recently decided here in 2021 which one I'm going to go with and put both of my shows on. The reason why I did separate, because I was just starting out. I wasn't sure. I like to kind of the benefits, what I saw on either one based on the show. I went with Podbean first with this Surviving Your Journey to Success. And then I later got, because I do writing, what have you, it's those that follow me. And I said, I want to do another podcast show. And then I just started looking, and I saw Spreaker. I found about Spreaker, and I said, oh, okay, I'll go ahead and try that. So I've been with them for 4 years. Long story short, to kind of run this in, I kept asking for features, and it was really hard. It was just like my metaphor. It's like trying to pull at times. Now, they were nice with responding back. I give them that. I had the basics, but not upgrade. And you still looking for the simple thing. And if you're a podcaster, you know what I'm talking about. Data, the breakdown of how your show is doing. It motivates you. It tells you what's work, what you need to do. At the end of the day, it's numbers. And so, flip that with Podbean. I did have issues with not being uploaded automatically to my social media. Frustrated about that. And then the time, so I work around. I'm usually a type of person, I work around with you. And then after a while, I just like, wait a minute. I'm just giving too much. So let me just balance this out. And these 4 years, as we get close to when I was finally decide, I think I'm just tired of the other one and I'm ready to make a decision. And during that whole time, the last 2 years, I can say I noticed that it seemed like Podbean was reinvesting back into the platform. Now, it could be some other issues someone talking about Podbean. I'm just talking about my experience. And the other platform is just seeing it was more with upgrade, which the upgrade platform was just one extra feature. I didn't really need all those hours because I'm not podcasting live for 8 hours a day. You're right. This is more of a conversational, a hobby type, talking about what's going on, getting everything out and sharing. I'm not going to do this 8 hours live every day. I have so many other stuff going on. So that wasn't going to help me. And besides, it should be something basic. Podcasting, at the end of the day, you need to know your numbers. Anything that you're doing, you need to know the percentage or what have you, where your listeners are coming from. Well, right away, I can't do that in the sense of being specific of the episodes. And Podbean seemed to gradually, in a sense, the 4 years and really full blown, I say in year 3, it seemed to upgrade their platform and really look at it from a perspective of a podcaster needing the tools that they need to elevate their show, to know their successes, to know their challenges, to know their failures, to know what they need to work on or know they're doing good, and to do it in an effortless way and to keep up to the trends of podcasting, right? As more people are podcasting, and Podbean did that. And so that's why I'm with Podbean. So we take that to what I'm talking today. They were listening because I was emailing too about some things. I don't like this. Can you help me? This, and they implement it, right? I missed their chat, but then that's the sacrifice they had to do to get the features that they know that a podcaster needs. And people can say, well, they just did this for money. No, you actually can have people that this way, yeah, they could do it all for that, but still don't reinvest for the tools that you need. And that's what I felt with the other platform. It was only about me in the sense of upgrading. Well, I can't do this. I even showed them a screen print. Well, that's what this Podbean doing. Why can't y'all do it? And they said, we'll take a look at it. Never got back to me. And so a year passed, and I was like, I'm just head up. It's just, I'm not going to be doing, this continuously. And I can't look at my numbers and know, who download what, all this is interesting for us. And I couldn't even tell that. Now I'm on Podbean and I am like on cloud 9 over here. I know everything in the sense of what episode did what happened that day. It just helps you, and to be able to understand that. And it seems like Podbean took my concerns and my requests and updated the platforms and changed it to the way that I felt, I'm going to go ahead and move over. So it doesn't take much, but that's what you need to do as a manager. So that's key. So the last thing I want to hold on is basically overall, it's more going to be a motivational type thing as I wrap this up, is learn your trends of decision making. Learn the impacts of that, how you impact other people that work underneath you. Understand they're emotional. Basically, at the end of the day, if I have to pick up one word that's coming through, is basically the one word is empathy. Empathy is not really taking, it's giving, it's understanding, it's listening, and you really mean it and you show it. And when you show it, you don't set up programs or protocols or metrics to take it back. Therefore, you never really meant your apology from the beginning, or said you were sorry, or meant that you said, we're going to make some changes, and it never happened. You actually meant it. That will put some life up in those employees' heart, and they will listen and they will stay, because without them, they are the foundation. It's easy to kind of say, well, we'll just wrap around and have more new hires. Okay, that's really a long time to get someone up to speed. That's a gamble in itself. And it's like a big hole, because eventually it's going to catch up with that gap that what you had, you lost, but you could have kept it. Right? When I left, I got emails all of a sudden. How can we talk about this? Just stay over here. But to me, it was like too late. And sure enough, late response, it's just, you gotta move on. And that's what people that are fed up feel like. And you want to be not part of that. So who can stop it? You can. You talk the truth, you live the truth. I know it's hard in corporate America or business or what have you, but you do. And you be honest and you be empathy with that. And when you want to give, you'll say, hold on, when you're riding that horse, let me give you some of my water. Okay. Let me make sure when we get there and they got that water in that bin and it's not I talk to the person there, no, you're going to give them the best water that you got. It's a team. Titles is just to separate, in a sense, to identify who's going to go first, who's going to say what. But at the end of the day, it's a team. And that's what you got to remember. All right. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please visit my website, nichelanderson.com, and subscribe to my newsletter. And definitely visit my other podcast shows. And I still have the connection with the Sabat Methodist School in Ghana. Consider checking that out on my website page. You can link directly and communicate directly to the CEO Ambassador for Literacy, and that's a great cause that he has with his programs. And please follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and I just want to say I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have a good evening. Talk to you soon.